Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special bonus edition of PatFacts After Dark, the 8 p.m. edition. Hope everyone's having a great day. Typically, for those that don't know, I'm usually on 8 p.m. with the three Not So Wisemen, myself, Blake, and Chris, where we talk about some of the things going on, some of the current events. We try to bring sort of a lighter approach to things if we can, have a little fun at the same time. Unfortunately, tonight, both Chris and Blake are not around. Hey, Bonnie, welcome. They're away on assignment, as I said. They weren't able to make tonight, so we decided, as opposed to not having anything, that I would do kind of a bonus edition of my show, which I call PatFacts, which I usually do Sunday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. So this is our PatFacts After Dark. So, hey, Gary, welcome. So again, it's myself tonight flying solo. Hey, Jen, on our special edition PatFacts After Dark. Again, next week we'll be back with our three Not So Wise Men. We're shifting things up a bit with fall coming, a new season. We're going to make a little change to our format. We're going to go to a new time slot with Sweeps Week coming. Ratings are very important in TV land. So we're going to switch our time slot. We're going to go in at 7:30 starting next week, and that'll take us into our fall schedule. Looking to grow the program a little bit more for those that have been with us. And if you haven't, shame on you. We're looking to expand even more. We're hopefully we can bring some more people on, so you don't have to listen to us talk for 30 minutes and go on at each other, but also just to give a different perspective and different experiences and share some insight, just like we had last week. Those that were here, Jennifer joined us and gave. I wasn't here last week, but she joined us and gave some expertise in the field of arts and music and what she's been seeing and dealing with. And we want to bring more of that to you guys. So again, we can have different perspective, different experts come in and chat about different things. And we want it to be very interactive, like we try to be now. So if you have any comments or questions or want to interact with the show, definitely send me a comment. Let me know. We definitely want to have that discussion component to it, that interactive piece. Dude, that's a big part of the show. It's a show for everybody. It's for you guys just as much as it is an outlet for us to be a little silly and have some fun. So we were going to talk about back to school and kind of some of the situations dealing with back to school and the decisions that parents have to make. But because the fellows aren't here tonight, and again, it's my show now. I've taken it. It's officially mine because it's my name, PatFacts. We're going to talk about more of a mindset approach, and we're going to save the back to school again for next week, 7:30 p.m., our new fall time, just in our fall schedule. So hopefully will join us on N2L Transformations. It's on Blake's page, N2, the number 2L, so never too late, Transformations. That's his site, or if you look up Blake Miles, it's there. I also try to share it too here on Pat on Your Back, so you can check it out. But we're going to save the back to school talk as of now for next week, unless something different comes up that we feel takes precedence. We want to talk about that. But what we're going to talk about tonight is, if you saw the previews, we're going to talk about Mamba Mentality. So if you remember earlier this year, it was a big news event when the unfortunate helicopter crash happened and took those, I believe it was 11 passengers. Among them was basketball player Kobe Bryant. Mamba Mentality, he was called the Black Mamba, and that Mamba Mentality was his mindset and the approach he took to everything he did. And admittedly, I wasn't a big fan of Kobe when he played. I just didn't care for the style and the way he carried himself. But seeing what he did and what he was able to do after basketball and how he applied some of those principles, which if you've been joining me for PatFacts, I know some of you have, we talk about how we're taking kind of things we learn now during the pandemic and applying them to other facets of our life. Then he took that Mamba mentality and he applied it to his business. He applied it to taking a letter and a transcript kind of thing that he wrote about the game of basketball, making it an animated feature, and winning an Oscar for it, an Academy Award. he took that and developed a basketball academy to help kids, specifically young girls. He had 3 or 4 daughters, but to help grow the game and be an ambassador for the game, and to coach and help develop these group of kids that were his daughter's age. And he was really trying to give back to the game. And he had so many other things on his plate that he was going to dive into. And unfortunately, again, him along with the other people on the helicopter were taken from us too soon. But what I really felt, it seems like the pandemic sort of was the next big story, and that the Kobe Bryant mentions and the tributes had either happened or they seemed to sort of diminish, unfortunately, because the new story in the news was this pandemic. That was it going to come here or not, and effects and all that sort of stuff. So, but kind of looking back, and I'm trying to be a little better at looking back on things and learning from them. Sort of what I thought was that it seems like it almost happened, what happened to Kobe Bryant, to really bring to the forefront Mamba mentality. That was the message everywhere. Kobe had that Mamba mentality. He was nicknamed the Black Mamba, and he developed this Mamba mentality. And it was almost like a persona that he had. And when he passed away, everyone mentioned that, the Mamba mentality, his Mamba mentality. That's what got him through so much. He was the first person in the gym, the last person to leave the gym. He would sometimes call his coaches or trainers at 3 a.m. and say, I need to get in and get some shots up. But they would meet him. He'd just put shot after shot after shot. His mindset, his Mamba mentality, was to do as much as he could to be the best version of himself he could be. And he felt if he could put that work in and not leave anything on the table and be the best version of himself, he was happy with that. And in his case, it typically turned out to lead to success for him when it comes to championships and different things in the league, different titles and things in the league. So he took that mindset and took it to life after basketball. So I feel like that Mamba mentality was sort of almost put in our face for those weeks and months after he passed, to kind of put it into respect, put it in our heads, so that when this pandemic hit, I think more of us, especially if you were a sports fan and knew, even if you weren't, you heard it, but if you were involved in sport or knew the sport, that Mamba mentality was sort of ingrained in your head almost, because you heard it so much after his passing. So I feel like that will kind of set us up to have that mentality, to have that mindset. And you can call it whatever you want. I call it the positivity pandemic, is what I named the pandemic, or operationally fit. It's a part of it, having that mindset. If you've joined me before, you heard me talk of Todd Durkin. He says, get your mind right. That's his thing. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. Got to get your mind right. That's his kind of logo there. Get your mind right. That's his Mamba mentality. So whatever Peter Twist says, be ready. Better every day. Like Coach Trevor Anderson says, everyone kind of has their own take on it, and you probably do too. But I feel like the Mamba mentality was kind of the reinforcer to say, this is what we need to do. We need to focus. We need to be concise. We need to calculate what we're doing. Kobe didn't waste opportunities, and he didn't take things that weren't going to benefit him and help him in the fact of reaching towards his goal. Not necessarily just to benefit him, but if it wasn't going to help him reach his goal, he was pretty good at passing on things and saying, you know what, that's not a good fit for me. He didn't do it just for the sake of doing it, to make a check or to do whatever. And I feel like a lot of us, I feel like a few more should have, but a lot of us developed that during the pandemic. We realized that we need to focus on ourselves. We need to take better care of ourselves. We need to do the things we never had time to do. But now we've got time. We were given time. We were given that opportunity. We've talked about it before on PatFacts and on the Not So Wisemen as well. We've been given this opportunity, so we can't waste it. And I really feel like the events that happened that, again, brought Mamba mentality to the forefront were kind of designed to trigger us to have that sort of mindset. And again, it may not be named Mamba mentality. It may not be named anything, but it just gave us a kind of a leadway to make ourselves more at a higher preference level or a higher priority than we maybe were before. We put everyone else before us. And I feel like that Mamba mentality, hearing that, put us at a higher level so that we were taking better care of ourselves or making better choices or starting to really get into a swing of things and think, you know what, this is going to be 2020. It's starting off rough because there were a few things that happened before that as well. We thought that's a rough year. This is probably the low point. Let's continue forward. Let's put in that Mamba mentality. Let's put in that positive energy. Let's put in that work ethic, and let's really drive through and make this year count. And then everything else happened that's happened from then until now. And I really think, again, it was prepping us for what was to come. And this is really out of left field for me. I don't usually reflect on things this way and kind of notice it or as much. I don't look back and think, oh, that was for this. That's why this happened. But if you've been here, again, I mentioned Afghanistan. I feel my time in Afghanistan prepped me for this because I was isolated there. I was restricted on where I could go, what I had access to. That prepped me, I feel, for now so that I could focus on doing things like this for you guys and build our community that we have here, whether it's, again, PatFacts or 3 Wisemen. And really they're starting to intertwine with each other and become kind of one big community. A lot of you I see on my workouts and on my PatFacts, and I appreciate that support as well. So again, I feel like that tragic event really set us up and geared us up for that, and at least got us in the mindset, the mentality of trying to be a little bit better. And then when the pandemic happened and things kind of went awry, that really put it into focus. So think of how things look for you now, or how you act and how you take care of yourself and what you do compared to maybe what you did 6 months ago almost. We're 5.5 months in. Well, actually, I guess almost 5.5 months. We're just kind of mid-March. So we're over 5 months into this. Think back to those 5 months. What were you doing? What were you saying yes to that maybe you just didn't need to? But it was there. It was an opportunity. You thought, oh, I can help that person, or I can help that group, or I can get that couple extra bucks. When really it didn't help progress you anywhere to where you needed to be. Now look at what you're doing. What are you saying yes and no to? Hopefully it's just things that align with your goals and your wants and what you can do. And we have to learn to say no to some things. Thanks, Rod. I like it too. It's a nice combination, isn't it? Rod said, for those on my Instagram, Rod McDonald, thanks for hopping on. Rod says he likes this combination of presenters better. Thank you, Rod. I think so too. It's a good fit. We'll see if I bring the guys back next week or not. But again, I think we've all gone through that transition of making ourselves that priority and taking better care of ourselves. And then that helps us take better care of those around us. And then again, that was part of the Mamba mentality. Kobe put so much work and effort into things that eventually, he didn't get it right away, but eventually he got better time and was better able to help those around him because he put that effort and that focus in. He was taking such good care and putting so much energy into his basketball academy. He was reaching so many children and spreading the game that he loved so much, but also making an impact on youth, giving them the resources that maybe they didn't have to experience the game, to have an organized competition, to have uniforms and access to resources that maybe they wouldn't have had otherwise. He was giving back. He was applying that Mamba mentality to himself first when he played, and he admitted he was pretty selfish when he played. He focused on him, but when he retired, he opened up and said, okay, I got to be here for my family. They need me now. I put that time in so that now I can have the time with them and spend better quality time and then influence people outside of his family. And that's what we all need to do is, if you haven't been already, look inside, focus on yourself. You deserve to be that top priority. You deserve to have a Mamba mentality about you. You deserve to be a mind right maniac, as Todd Durkin says. You deserve to make yourself that priority, to have freedom, like Blake would say. You deserve to have a good quality of life. And Rod would say the same thing, but he has his own take on it, where you deserve to put yourself first and have that freedom or that mindset or that attitude, whatever you can, however you want to look at it, to grow and develop and build yourself, take care of yourself. And then that's going to help those around you even more than you already are. And I know you're all doing such great things for people around in your communities and organizations and your teams and your families, and to get even better. So again, think of what you were doing. Think of how you're kind of responding and acting now, what you're doing what you're doing now presently. And again, we don't want to lose that as we come out of, or at least come out of waves out of this pandemic. It's not gone, but we're trying to reopen things and reintegrate. So make sure that you're not losing what we just did the past 5 months. The idea that I'm sending on PatFacts, and if you've been here again, you've heard me say it, and probably I'm Not So Wisemen either. The idea being to take what we've learned in these past 5 months and apply it to other facets of our life. And again, that's what Kobe did. He developed that Mamba mentality through years of playing basketball and the desire to be the best he could be. And then he took that and applied it to making an animated film and won him an Oscar, to developing, again, that basketball academy. He had so many things on his list that he was going to do, and the outreach and the changes he wanted to make. And he was going to apply that Mamba mentality principle to other facets of his life. And then obviously that would trickle to other people's lives. And I'm sure he would have started teaching that, or been a book about, there is a Mamba mentality book, but it's more kind of a history of it and some examples, I think, more so than teaching it. But I'm sure that would have come down the road as well. So again, we try to influence and role model to those around us, whether we want to or not. People see us, people see how we interact, how we carry ourselves, how we look after ourselves. And maybe you're the influence that someone that just isn't there, they're maybe stuck, and says, you know what, my neighbor, they've got their act together. You know, they're full of energy, they're always happy, they're smiling, I see them out running or walking, and they seem really organized. I wonder what they're doing. And they'll start to watch you, and then they'll pick up on certain things you're doing, and then they'll start to maybe make those changes, or think, oh, if that works for them, something like that might work for me, because I'm kind of where I remember them being a few weeks ago or a few months ago. Maybe I can make some changes too. Or if you have children, I talked, if you were here with my PatFacts on Sunday, we were talking about focus and the ability to focus on one task at a time, building that focus muscle so you get better quality, and then you can get on to the next task and have good quality time there and not worry about the last task, whether it's work or whatever, be able to almost compartmentalize what you're doing. And someone commented that they've been going for hikes with their family come more often because of the pandemic and what they've been doing. So you're role modeling to your kids, you're role modeling to your spouse what's important. So again, they can kind of join in together. So then you kind of check off a few boxes. So your Mamba mentality, or your positive mindset, or getting your mind right, or your quest for freedom, again, has that focus where you got physical activity in that example, you got family time in, which is very important, and you role model to your kids how important physical activity and family time honestly is. So chances are, as they get older, that's more of a priority for them. So we're positively impacting the people around us. That's that ripple effect. Put a pebble in the water, it makes one spot, but the ripples go out and reach even more. That's what I've deemed, if you've been with me, the positivity pandemic. We're creating a good environment for ourselves of change, of growth, of getting better, being the best version of ourselves we can be. And then that positivity, energy, and role modeling is going to spread out in our communities. We're going to feel it amongst ourselves, but then your community and his community and her community are going to notice it and feel it as well. And they'll really spread out and grow. And that's the pandemic that we want to take over. There's no vaccine, there's no cure. It's here to stay. But we have to put the work in to make sure we stay consistent and to help those around us at least see it, if not experience it for themselves. Bonnie says, your ratings went up tonight, considering a no-show last week. I was MIA. Yeah, I had an appointment come up last week, so I couldn't make the 3 Not So Wise Men. So I'm sorry to everyone I missed, including our guest. I was really looking forward to chatting and mentioning some examples. I know I have we talked about kind of the arts and culture and how to kind of take advantage of some of that during the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic, and just some resources. So if you missed that, again, go back to Blake's page, Into All Transformation, or even to my my personal page. I'll post it here. I'll share it to my Pat on Your Back page later tonight as well. But basically, was getting more exposed and taking advantage of opportunities of arts and culture. And I know some of my clients who are watching tonight have taken up painting, have taken up some music, have enjoyed the arts a bit more. I find for myself, I've taken in more music. I don't play music I DJ a little bit, so I've been practicing that and doing it a bit more, but I've been watching DJs and almost trying to learn from it and enjoy the art of them creating the music and the soundtracks and the environment they can create over a video stream like this, let alone in a live capacity. And I believe, like we talked about last week, there's instances where you can just view it, and there's instances where they kind of suggest that if you want to donate and support them, give them a tip, they usually call it, or you can subscribe to their channel and you get little perks from subscribing. They get a bit of a cut from that to help them because they've lost that revenue that they're usually used to getting. But sort of like someone like myself in a kind of an out-giving industry, it's an outlet for them. One of the guys I watched last night said, you guys all thank us for being here. I thank you so much because I've had an outlet. I've been able to share my craft and my passion and my art with everyone. And without it, I would probably go crazy not having that outlet. And for me, that's how this is my home gym. For those that are new, I think you've all been here before, but this is where I do my classes in the morning. They started out free. I'm going to switch to more of a platform as things go forward. But it was a way to help people have access to some classes that maybe that weren't going to the gym because they were closed. But it was also an outlet for me because I was so used to kind of sharing that energy with people around me and teaching multiple classes a day and having that energy given out and also receiving it. So it was an outlet for me to kind of get some movement in and get some of that excess energy out. And even though we're virtual, I could feed off that energy that you guys send back to me. And it was, again, it kind of kept things a little more normal for me. And they feel the same way with that. So again, apologies to our guest, Jennifer, last week that I couldn't make it. Hopefully we'll catch you on the next time you're in. The next time, maybe Blake and Chris stand me up. Maybe you can just come on and we'll chat. Maybe we'll have you on PatFacts. That'll teach them. So again, hopefully everyone enjoyed that last week. Again, apologies for not being there. I saw Blake comment at somewhere that I felt the show was beneath me, and that's why I wasn't there. That's not the case. Just Blake and Chris are beneath me. That's why I wasn't there. No, just kidding. Again, I had appointments and couldn't come in. So that's right, Jen. It takes a team. We definitely want to have a team. I know we joke about having a team surrounding us like an athlete would. A high-level athlete has their team that kind of is with them. But we kind of need that too. Whether it's a team that creates a positive image and impact throughout their community, or if it's a team to help you take the best care of yourself you can. Maybe you need a massage therapist and a business coach and a life coach and a freedom coach and a financial coach and a fitness coach and a nutrition coach. You need some of these tools sometimes, these outsiders, for lack of a better word, to you that can look in and give a different perspective and say, you know what, you're getting toward the right goal. But if you just took this path instead, look how much clearer it is. Look how much sooner you could get there. And sometimes it just takes a little step one way or the other, or a little tweak here and there, or someone to say, hey, you know what? I've done that. I did it this way. I think that'll work for you. And then they can, if you get stuck, they can reach out and say, here, I got you. Come on up. Come a little bit closer. And you can see them in the distance and far and help them. So we do need that team. You're right, Jen. It takes a team, whether it's a team that you've done on purpose, that you've created and assembled, or again, it could just be a team in your community, people that you interact with and are around. I know in some of my business courses, it's looked at, we think we don't have a team because we're a solopreneur, but then they say, who does your taxes? Who looks after your books? Who's your lawyer? Who's your insurance provider? And those are all members of your team. And then someone like, say like a Rod or a Blake is there because they've done some different things that I'm just getting into now. So maybe I can lean on them and ask for some guidance. Usually I go to Rod because Blake says no, but we'll see if Rod's still here. He'll chime in on that. I think he hopped off. But again, it does take a team, Jen. You're right. It's very important. And you see that if you look back or if you followed Kobe's progress. He was one of the best players to ever play the game of basketball. Did he win a championship every year? No, because sometimes the team dynamic didn't work. He had a good run with Shaq. They were really dominant. They won 3 titles in a row, if I remember right. And then they lost one year, and then the team sort of got dismantled. They weren't getting along anymore, and Shaq left, and then they had to rebuild. And Kobe couldn't do it all himself. He tried. He tried a lot, and some nights he did almost all of it, but he couldn't do it all himself. He needed the pieces in place. And when the team finally got to a place where they could put those pieces back in place for him, then he won another title. He was able to have that success again, or at least be in contention every year. So it definitely takes a team. We want to have a team, and we've talked as well as we kind of get into our wrap-up stretch here, thinking of meeting the team where the saying goes, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I know Jen has commented too of some of her 5 in the past who weren't really there for her on different excursions that she went on. And it changed the dynamic of what she was able to do. She didn't have as good of a time or had to do things by herself because the people that went with her to enjoy this decided, we don't want to do that. We're just going to go over here and do something else. It's the same thing if just in general in your life. If you have people around you that have this similar interests or the similar desires or the similar drive that you have, you can feed off each other. You can help each other. You can influence each other. If you have people that are naysayers and negative and that won't work, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. Stay where you are. I'm not going to do anything risky. I'm going to stay where I am because it's comfortable. I want to do this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stay here and just kind of go on about it. That's going to bring you down. So again, take a look at your team, like Jen mentioned. See, I had 2 people with me, and I decided to go solo this week. And Rod and Bonnie both said it's quite an improvement over last week. So there you go. I had to get rid of the 2 that were low performers, and now I got to find some other people to bring up the level of things and see where we can go. I didn't think I'd have fun making fun of them with them not being here, but I actually do. It's kind of good. But we need that team. We need that circle around us to help us grow and develop. So take a look. Think back to what you were doing, again, pre-pandemic. Look at what you're doing now, how good you're taking care of yourself, how more relaxed you are. I just talked with a buddy on the phone before I hopped on, and he said it's been nice to work from home for a bit. It was nice to be busy with the family, but be busy when we want it to be. We didn't have to run to 6 different sporting events with a bunch of kids and be all over the place. We could be busy as we wanted to be. We could do kind of what we wanted to. So we want to, and we've mentioned it on Not So Wisemen, and I've mentioned it on PatFacts as well. What we want for everyone is to not have wasted the opportunity. Whether it's you made the most of it during the time, hopefully you did, or if not, you're starting to now, and you're taking some of the lessons learned during that time, and again, applying them to other facets of your life. We always want to be ever improving. We always want to be evolving and growing and always getting better. We don't want to be stuck. You heard me read Pete Twist's quote the other day. We don't want to be stuck. We want to be standing up and always walking forward, always having the intent of getting better. Sometimes just that intent can help us get into that right mindset and that right frame of mind where we'll start to put little steps in place. And that's all it takes is one little step each day to get a little bit better, a little bit closer to that goal. And if you have off days, it's okay. Take the off day, try to your best to set yourself up for success the next day, and bring back in that positive mindset, that mind right maniac attitude, that positivity pandemic, that get better every day, that get your mind right, or that Mamba mentality. Whatever it means to you, commit to yourself to working the hardest, put in the most amount of work you can, work at a high level, put in hard work hard, be consistent, and stay on track towards your goals. The Rock calls it, be the hardest worker in the room. That's his Mamba mentality. Be the hardest worker in the room. Outwork everybody. You're in there, you push, you work towards, you're smart about it. You don't just work for the sake of working. You're working towards your goal, but you don't expect things. You work hard for them. You stay focused, like we talked about Sunday, having focus on what you're doing and intent, and that'll lead to better results, better performance, hopefully less stress, less anxiety, less of those things that, again, will affect how often we work out or how well we feel or pain and conditions we have. And if we're not working out, we're going to maybe get a little unhealthier, and that pain gets worse, or we put on weight, or we don't perform as best we could, and then we injure ourselves. Everything is all intertwined. There's no one kind of system to work on. They're all intertwined. But if one's out of whack, that will affect the others. But if we can get them all kind of working good and improve that one that's out of whack, that's going to affect all the other systems as well. So again, that comes back to that Mamba mentality, that positivity pandemic. That's what we want for you. Even though we come on here, if you watch the Not So Wisemen, which I know a couple of you do for some reason, we have fun with each other. We give each other a hard time and tease each other. But we have fun with it, and we try to give you guys as much information as we can and have a little bit of fun at the same time. But the goal is still to help you be a little bit better, just a little bit better every day. And if I can get a little better today, and you can get a little better, and you can get a little better, and she can get a little better, and they can get a little better, then if as we all get better, that's going to spread. That's, again, the positivity pandemic, where we all get a little bit better. And then everyone is a little bit better around us. That creates better communities. That creates better teams, better family relationships. That creates a better world to be in and a place to be involved with. And that, again, comes back to that Mamba mentality. So I guess we'll sign off there for tonight, trying to stick within our half-hour window that we try to be around with our 3 Not So Wise Men. Again, thanks so much to those who hopped on. Hey, Kimmy. Thanks to those who usually check us out on Blake's page, who hopped over tonight for the bonus edition of PatFacts After Dark. Again, we're back next week with the 3 Not So Wise Men. We'll see if I bring the other 2 back. We'll decide. Maybe we'll just do PatFacts After Dark. Who knows? I'll keep you posted. But the plan now is for all 3 of us to be back. Thanks, Bonnie. I appreciate that that you enjoyed the video. I appreciate the feedback. Thanks for being here, as always. Again, special edition tonight of PatFacts. Again, next week we're back with 3 Not So Wise Men. So I'll share the link to my Facebook page. Unfortunately, Instagram, it's not usually there because we go live on Facebook. We can't stream to both, unfortunately. This is just me tonight. I came on for the special edition. But if you go to my Facebook page, it's the same handle, POYB Fit or Pat on Your Back Personal Fitness. I'll share the link from Blake's page, or his page is N2L Transformations. You can give him a follow. We'll post some reminders. Again, next week with the fall season, fall schedule of programming, we're going to be at 7:30 p.m. As opposed to 8. So 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday nights, starting next week for our fall schedule. Again, we're trying to bring more to you guys as in terms of guests and interactions and different topics and discussing what's going on around us. So if you have ideas or things you want us to talk about and discuss, you can send myself or Blake, Miles, or Chris Noble a DM. You can comment on these videos. We can go back and see the comments that are there. Let us know. And maybe we can, Charm City PT, good evening. Good to see you again. Thanks for linking up today. Great talk with Martin this morning. I really enjoyed hearing you guys talk and discuss Pilates for men and everything that you were checking out there. Hey, Andrea, yeah, check out the replay. You won't be disappointed. I'm sure it'll be great. So again, next week we're back. 3 Not So Wise Men, myself, Blake, and Chris on N2L Transformation page, or check it out here on my profile. If you're checking out, thanks again for being here. I'm going to be with my PatFacts Sunday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. where I do something like this, give some information and perspective. And I do live workouts Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. on Facebook and on Instagram if you want to check those out. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM or comment on the videos, and we can touch base and chat. So that's it for tonight, guys. We'll see you next time. Make sure next week you come back to mention, if nothing else, just come back for a moment and comment to Blake and Chris how much you didn't really miss them and you enjoyed that it was just me, because that'll be fun for me to read and see. And I won't tell them. I'll just act surprised that you did it. We'll keep it between us. Thanks, Andrea. Andrea says your workouts rock. Thank you, Andrea. I appreciate that. Glad to have you at them. So enjoy the rest of your night, everyone. Again, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Get some fresh air break every day. Drink lots of water. Remember, limit your exposure to too much media. Stay informed. Be alert and aware. But don't dwell on things. Get what you need to do. Move forward. Stay fast with your plan, your progress, what your goal is. Always working towards it, and keep that Mamba mentality strong in your mind. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. Take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.